And as I'm sitting there, I immediately throw up my guard because I wasn't expecting this. And it eventually dissipates. She's still talking, and there's a break in the conversation, and I ask her, why are you ready to get rid of this now? Because remember, she said that this has been with her since she was 8 years old. She's had a lot of traumatic events in her life, sexual assault, all kinds of stuff. And she attributes some of it to bad decisions and some of it to this entity that's been with her. And I believe her. This thing is strong. And she blows through my question like she didn't hear me. So I wait for another break in the conversation. I ask her again, why are you ready to get rid of this now? She still doesn't answer the question. So we move on to another topic, and there's a break in the conversation, and I say, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I'm going to keep asking you this question until I get an answer. Why are you ready to get rid of this now? And she says, I don't remember you asking me this question. So we're still being interfered with, right? Haven't been to her house yet. Finally got on the phone, able to connect by phone. She says that she's ready to get rid of it now because she's gotten to a place in her life where she feels like she's a little more stable and she's tired of being harassed. And that's exactly what this is. She is being harassed. I ask her about her children because, remember, I don't know anything about her, but I've sensed that she has children in the house and that she's got a young boy who's being really badly affected by this thing. And she said, yeah, I do. I have a son, same age, 8 years old, I think she said. And he's not able to sleep. He's not sleeping good. He says that there's something that keeps him awake all night long. He hears his name being called and he thinks it's me. It's not me. She said, I'm hearing voices in my room. I hear my name being called. But what's worse is my husband, she said he rolled over in the middle of the night the other night and went to put his arm around me and heard a man's voice say, don't touch her. This is kind of the same thing that the massage therapist said that she had experienced with her when she went to touch her. And the voice said, don't touch her, she's mine. The husband also felt himself physically pushed by this entity. I asked her if other people in the house had felt physical interaction, and she confirmed that yes, people felt shoved and pushed. My guide then pipes up and says, they're inviting it in. Okay. So that now begs the question, so what kind of movies do you guys like to watch? Oh, we're huge horror fans. Okay. Well, that might be contributing. Nothing wrong with horror movies, but until we get this under control, maybe don't watch them so much. Just temporarily until we figure out what's going on. So she agrees. They're not going to do that. We set up a time for me to go visit the house because at this point, there's so much going on energetically with me. I feel like I need to actually do boots on the ground there for some reason. Don't know why I did that. I do in hindsight. That night I go to sleep and I start having a nightmare that I'm being shoved into a house and the house is sort of vacant. But every time I step through the door, something grabs me by the neck, lifts me up about 5 feet in the air. I can't breathe, I can't scream, and I can't move. And what's going on underneath me are horrifying acts of violence. People I love are being murdered. My pets are being dismembered. Every horrible, awful thing you can think of, and I can only be held there by my neck watching what's going on, and I can't scream, I can't affect it. I would wake up, I'd go back to sleep, and whatever that entity was followed me through every single dream I had that night. I wake up the next morning and contact the client and just ask her, how were you last night? And she said things are way worse. She said they were hearing screaming at night. There were a bunch of other things that I've completely forgotten by now. And so my guide offered to stay with them for a couple of days until I could make the trip out to their house. Again, my guide said I needed to actually go to the house before I started the work. but the nightmares continued.